Yo, what's going on, guys? Winner Kills here, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Saturday Night Locals. Here we are in episode 92. We are actually in round 3 of this DB Lurker series number 51 cash tournament hosted at my locals. Why did we skip round 2? Because the opponent that I had was very much so new to the game, and they were playing Fluanderies, and I did win 2-0. Now, to be fair, I probably would have lost the match if they were an experienced Flu player, or probably would have went to a game 3. So yeah, I decided it's probably not worth going over that matchup just because of how one-sided it is, but always cool to see people getting into the game that have not played before, or maybe haven't played in a long time, so that's definitely cool. But we are playing against Vanquish Soul now, a deck that I honestly don't play against all that often. And my opening hand is a little weird, and I decided to take it down a route that I was kind of confident with going into it, just because I'm like, all right, I've got Terror Top, I've got Fukumidoshi Piper. I'm not working with a lot in terms of engine, and I know a lot of people who play this deck wonder, like, you know, what do you do when you have just Speedroid cards? And this is definitely one thing that you can do. I'm just basically setting up Baron and getting as much value out of it as I possibly can. You know, Special Summon Terror Top, that's going to grab Tekatomborg, Special Summon that, then normal Piper to Excavate 2, find me something, grabs me a Car Turbo there, and I decided to take the route, I talked about this in the last episode, you know, Synchro climbing into Baron using the Wind Pegasus. I decided not to go for the Charge Warrior here, because I've already committed so much in terms of extenders in my normal summon, that I don't really find value in going for the draw 1 here. I'd rather set up follow-up and extra interruption in the graveyard, so I do just that. You know, getting the Duke in the graveyard for next turn is going to be more than beneficial, and also Wind Pegasus being in graveyard basically says anytime a card I control, another card I control is destroyed by battle or a card effect, I can banish it from the graveyard, target one card my opponent controls, shuffle it back into the deck. So yeah, feeling pretty good about that. And the Card Turbo is just kind of like, you know, like at least I have a way to rubber band shooter next turn, so that's kind of nice. And I can get there technically without using my normal summon. So I make the Baron, get a draw 1 out of it basically, load up some follow-up and some interruption in the graveyard, have an Imperm, and I've got Bell and Droll in hand too. Which Bell, like, I'm very mixed with Bell in this deck, like against the Vanquish Soul deck. They have obviously a few ways to retrieve things from the graveyard. You know, one being the Link Monster, the Rock the Vanquisher, and also Continue being another way to get the cards back out of the graveyard. So, like, you know, it's alright. I guess maybe you could potentially hurt their grind game if they are playing Bystials as a Dark Reveal. But I believe most builds have, like, played Phantasme now. At least this particular build I know is running Phantasme. I've seen a couple builds of VS running Phantasme. I don't know if they're playing that, you know, strictly in favor over something like Bystials, but, you know. My opponent is going to go into the Raisin, and I do obviously draw on Resolution the Durendal, so there's no search effect there of Raisin, but it uses the other effect, revealing 2 to destroy every monster in the column, and I chain the Baron there, because I don't want to lose my Baron, obviously, and if I can get the Raisin off the field and put it in the graveyard, that would definitely be clutch, but, you know, they always have it, they always have, at least anytime I play against this deck, they've always got that extender in hand to dodge. It's like one of the best things about the VS deck is their ability just to dodge things, and that's really key, because it's giving them follow-up next turn. You're just recycling your best card. So Borger tags out Raisin, and they put the I'm honestly forgetting that one's name, but yeah, it's really solid piece of support for the deck. Being a fire monster is also really clutch too. And they use its effect to non-target, change the battle position of Baron to defense there, and allows them to go Borger, attack over, and that's going to trigger my Wind Pegasus. I decided to use it here to get rid of the new level 5 fire, just because that one can quick effect, I believe, reveal 2 fires to add any VS card, and you can do that on my turn, obviously, so I decided to shuffle that back into the deck very, very easily, get rid of it, that way he can't search on my turn. The less my opponent can play on my turn, the better, right? That's one thing that this deck is very, very good at doing. So I decided to shuffle that back in, and obviously he has to clear the Baron any way that he can. He goes into Rock, tries to add back. I do decide to Bell. They set 1, and I believe they pass turn. I know that the Raisin is in hand, and I'm not sure if he has any other cards in hand. Draw phase, I decided to go ahead and burn the Imperm on the rock. I do not want that to get a chance to play on this turn as well. Anytime you can, Imperm that, always do it in the draw or standby phase, because if you do it in the main phase, they can just chain it. Then you're just wasting cards at that point. So I normal summon Card Turbo here. I decided that, going for the Piper reveal here would be more beneficial. So I didn't want to like Duke first and then special summon Card Turbo. If that makes any sense, I'd rather take the reveal one at this point. And that grabs me another Card Turbo, which is kind of nice actually. Especially now that I have access to Terratop Yo-Yo, which, being that I already used Terratop at this point, that second Terratop actually coming in clutch right now. And I decided to banish Clearwing Fast Dragon, which is an interesting, decision. But I think regular Clearwing actually is a halfway decent card against this particular deck, considering how many level 5 or higher monsters there are within the deck. Yeah, it's Jiaolong. I'm probably butchering that, but either way, standard procedure here. Terratop and Yo-Yo, that second Terratop again. Praise be to Konami, give us the third. So we get the Terratop here, which is super unlucky for a couple reasons. And you'll see here as this turn unfolds, we additional normal summon the Terratop here, and that is going to go ahead and grab us the Tekatomorg. Now, the unfortunate thing also, aside from not getting double Yo-Yo, which normally doesn't matter, but in this situation, it does kind of hurt a little bit, and again, you'll see why. But in order to get to this point, I had to burn Duke either way. And obviously, Duke is a hard once per turn, so it's going to make whatever I get off this Tekatomorg a little less valuable. I mean, I do get another Duke for follow-up. I also have no way to get a level 4 tuner on the board, which means like I can't go Charge Warrior, then Synchro Climb into Baron. Like, that would be huge right now, but I can't do that, right? Because I have no way to get Piper back out onto the board. And the level 6 Wind Synchro pool, I was literally just looking at it, is extremely limited. Extremely limited. There's like 5 generic Wind level 6 Synchros, and I know it's an extremely niche pool, but I mean, come on. 2024. Give us some more stuff to work with here. I go for the Juju. Again, this is one of the reasons why you play this card. Fantastic in these situations where you need removal. The card just kind of sits there a lot of the times because your opponent can't get rid of it. I go to send the back row. It is continue, which interestingly enough is going to put him down 500 life points, adding back that Borger. And now that he has no VS monsters on 2, because obviously Rock the Vanquisher is not a Vanquishable monster, he cannot play on my turn right now, which is so big. And, he's at 75, and Rock has 0 attack, so, I'm like, can I go for a game here? Unfortunately, no. Had I got the double Yo-Yo, I could have gone for a game. That extra body would have put me well over a game, considering I have another Card Turbo Engrave that can banish to make all wins I control gain 800 until the end of the turn. And here's where I special summon Card Turbo. My opponent wanted to, read the card, I guess. Obviously, all my cards are German, so... I mean, I told him exactly what the card does verbatim, but obviously he doesn't have to trust me in any capacity. I'm not here trying to fool anybody. Very simple Card Turbo is. Right, if you control a wind monster, activate effect, you can special summon this card from your hand, but for the rest of the turn, you cannot activate the effects of monsters, except for wind monsters. And then if it's in the graveyard, you can banish it in another Speedroid as cost to make all wind monsters you control gain 800 attack until the end of the turn. So we special summon out that Card Turbo in attack position, then I banish Card Turbo from grave with Tekatomorg to make everything gain 8. Now Juju is at 3,200, being at 24 originally, where Band Shooter is at 1,800, and the Card Turbo is at 1,600, and that is, after everything is said and done, I'm going to drop my opponent down to 900 life points. Which again, if I had that double Yo-Yo, that would be game. Which I really needed it to be game right here, you know what I mean? Like, he's got Borger and Raisin in hand, and that's going to be more than enough for what I'm going to be able to put up, I guess. Maybe not. I think my opponent has a pretty crazy top deck, fair enough, but, and here I use the secret effect of Fukimadoshi Piper. Target a wind monster that's level 3 or higher and make it lose 2 levels. So I make Juju become a level 4, and that's going to allow me to Synchro Climb into Clearwing Synchro Dragon with the set Imperm. So not terrible at the end of the day, right? I mean, this could be worse, all things considered. I got Imperm, I've got Clear Wing, I've got Duke Engrave, which is follow-up. Unfortunately, I'm top decking. I see my opponent slap Fenrir down on the field. I'm like, all right, that definitely is the draw for turn, because that's a huge draw. And they have Rhoda in hand. You know, now that I think about it, I'm not actually sure what the draw for turn would have been. Well, maybe they already had Rhoda in hand, and I just drolled them so they couldn't use it. So that gets them a raise. And then they go Fenrir Effect of Search here. I do go ahead and negate and destroy with Clearwing. Maybe I didn't need to do that. In all honesty, that might have been a throw, if I'm being honest, because there's probably just more valuable things to stop, right? Like he's just gonna grab another copy of Fenrir at the end of the day, right? Like, so what does it matter? And I guess you could argue he could just go battle phase early and then lose out to the other effect of Clearwing. Like, I could use either effect at that point, like a level 5 activating its effect on the field, or a level 5 targeting a level, or a monster targeting level 5, right? I can just stop that effect. So I probably didn't need to do that. They do use Prosperity though, and that finds a mistake. Stake is going to go ahead and reveal the Raisin. This is going to go grab the Jiaolong. And imagine, like, had I, like, have Clearing Effect right here, because this is a level 5 monster. Clearing Effect to reveal on the double reveal, I think it is there. Yeah, to search. And that would probably have been huge. I could save the Imperm. The normal Raisin, I could Imperm that. But I do believe they have Borger in hand, so, like, it's just... Yeah, it's honestly just rough all around. It's rough. It's rough out here in these streets. But, yeah, they go and grab the Mad Love, and then they use the effect Reel 2. That's going to blow up. That, unfortunately, doesn't target, so can't do anything to stop that. And then they're just going to continue to set up here. I mean, deck doesn't really do a whole lot, but it doesn't really need to do a lot, you know, to establish itself. They're going to bring out Mad Love. This is going to go ahead and search out the Snow Devil, I believe. Which that's one hell of a card anyways. And I'm also top decking, right? So there's really just not much to be done here. I'm just kind of seeing him play out the rest of the turn. See what he does. See, maybe get some sneak peeks of what's in the extra deck perhaps. Maybe see a little secret things, I don't know. Honestly, if I'm being honest, I probably should just scoop. I'm not really trying to figure anything out at this point, honestly. They deal half damage here because of the Prosperity. And yeah, this is the one reason that I hate cards that deal half damage, because then you get into the 50s, then my little 80 life points count doesn't work so well anymore, and just kind of the round. But then I just do the full 8,000. By the way, people always are so confused about how I do life points. I'm checking the time, which I find hilarious. Like, I figure it'd be pretty obvious of why I do 80-80, right? I don't know. Yeah, but the past turn, I rip a Prosperity off the top, and yeah, and then they go ahead and reveal to search 2 here, or well, reveal 2 to search, and yeah, I just decided to scoop there. I don't want to really play that out. I don't think there's any one great card I could get in that situation with how set up they are that's going to make a huge difference. So into game 2 we go, where a hand that's very susceptible to droll. I just pray that my opponent does not have it. And you can see that Judgments and Anti-Spells are in. And I think Talents is in as well. You know, the standard side impact. I think Called By is probably in there too. Yeah, I probably just sided Called By, Talents, Anti-Spell, 2 Anti-Spell, and 3 Judgment. I think that's pretty much all I sided. Probably took out the Econs, the Bells, maybe some other cards. Just want more like high impact stuff going first. So I decided to go for the Fenrir Search. Then I'm going to go Prosperity, which... if I'm being honest, like, I guess I wanted to play around Droll, so I guess doing it this way is fair enough. But I was really hoping I could find, like, a Unicorn or something to, like, just go for the full combo. But I don't get there, and I just Prosperity for 3, because I don't really need to Prosperity for 6 with the way my hand is. So I just decided to take the Tekatomborg, although taking the Droll was definitely tempting. And I'm also, like, kind of forgetting something, too. Like, I could technically play this out a completely different way, right? I don't have to play it out this way. Like what I still, like, could do the Draco sack line is what I'm trying to get at. I don't know if I really realized it at this point. Like, I could have taken the Droll, and then just, like, spec Fenrir, search Unicorn for follow-up, normal Terror Top effect at Tekatomborg. Tekatomborg effect, tag out for Piper, reveal 1, which honestly I don't even have to reveal 1 there, I could just save it for later. And then I could Synchro into Wind Pegasus, and then Wind Pegasus could overlay with the Fenrir into Draco Sack, and do things that way. So, and then just reveal, like, Duke and Terror Top, or Duke and Yo-Yo. I think that would have been... Or maybe banish to 6 and do, like, Duke and Car Turbo. Things get a little dicey there, though. But yeah, now we use Piper to activate 2. Get a little bit further on here. And I think I'm just trying to set up, like, a very similar board that you saw in the first game, which is going to be going for Baron, getting as much resources as I possibly can. So Baron plus Fenrir plus Imperm plus Ash with follow-up. Like, that's all I could do there. I honestly probably could have done more. Like, I oftentimes overlook the fact that I have something like SP in my extra deck, just because, like, I'm not used to making it like, ever in this deck. That might just be an excuse, but yeah, I don't know. And you can see I didn't banish it either. Like, it was definitely in there still. But whether or not I had a way to safely get to it is another story. My opponent decides to start with Prosperity for Ash, or for 6. I do Ash. I figured if I'm going to go ahead and Ash the Prosperity, if it's going to be because he starts with it and he banishes 6. Then they activate Rhoda, and I'm like, alright, this gets them Raisin. I don't want to let them get Raisin on board to begin with, so I go ahead and Baron negate. That also felt a little risky. Of course, they have Raisin already. Right, then they go ahead and normal summon Raisin, activate the effect, and here I was like, I could just Imperm this, right, and then Fenrir on Resolution and put them on Have It, but they have it. They always have it. Every time I play it, this deck, they've just got it, right? So they get to resolve Raisin, then they get Caesar Valius on board, and now whatever they search off of Raisin can just be checked. Well, can, like, check the Fenrir effect. So if they grab, like, a Heavy Borger here and I go Fenrir and Resolution, target the Caesar Valius, which I do because I'm just trying to force their hand, essentially. So they do chain. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. They go Borger effect, reveal 2 to go ahead and burn me for 15. And surprised they didn't, I guess it doesn't matter. And then go ahead and special Jiao Long. Go ahead and reveal to go ahead and turn Baron to defense. Very similar position from the previous game. And I'm hoping if they do go battle phase here, which everything I have is gaining. I have Earth, Wind. There's Earth, Wind, Fire, and Dark. So everything I have is gaining 400, 400. So that is going to make it so they can't just go battle phase right now and clear Fenrir. And they also can't get over Baron either, which is kind of huge. So we'll force them to play a little differently here. Go into the extra deck and get removal that way. Since I did get the Caesar Valius off the field. Yeah, so I'm just telling them about Wind Pegasus and Graveyard, what that does. Yeah, everything though I have has been exhausted. I've got no interruptions left. Little they know, of course, but yeah, I mean, it kind of felt like I was pushing buttons there, but also at the same time, like, how do you not respond to those cards in that way? Like, Prosperity for 6 right off the rip, I'm ashing that every time. I don't care. Like, and then Rhoda, which is only getting one thing, is getting Raisin, and like, you have one in hand already, then you have one. And then the Imperm fires on that, forces you to have another name in hand, which they did. Yeah, so they go for the Phoenix here to clear the field spell, and they draw, which they actually can't draw. And I think I bring that up. Yeah, I'm like, can you still draw even if Prosperity gets ashed? And yeah, I think we ask a judge about this. Half damage is not dealt, but you cannot draw even if Prosperity is ashed. Yeah, it's a very very weird thing. Yeah, and there's C Goody to the rescue. Yeah, also our resident judge. Yeah, also coming over to confirm. Yeah. Not that it's not a big deal, but I was like, if I can, you know, make so my opponent doesn't have a free draw off that when they technically shouldn't have, it's probably for the better, right? So easy enough to forget. So like, this is the card I drew. I'm like, I trust you. It's fine. So yeah, they go ahead and put it back. Shuffle. They still get rid of the planet though, which is ultimately what they wanted to get rid of, right? So that 400 attack boost that had slowly just fizzling away there. But and I guess it also gets them into Typhon too, which is yeah. I guess they're in a pretty bad spot, I guess, for the most part, right? And at this point, I'm feeling like I'm in a good spot, right? I'm feeling like I'm in a decent spot. The Typhon, like I've played under Typhon several times, and if I'm being honest here, I really should just be using Wind Pegasus. I really should just be using Wind Pegasus Engrave right now. Right now, I should be using Wind Pegasus Engrave, and I'm not using it. Please tell me I use it. Oh my goodness. I was looking for a way that I threw the game and how I could have won this game. But I think that's got to be it right there. That has to be it. But I guess, oh man. And also, why did I not imperm the Rock of the Vanquisher? There has to be... There is no way. Like, not even... I'm at a loss of words, honestly. But this is why I do this, right? This is why I do this stuff. There's no reason not... Like, even just bouncing back the Rock of the Vanquisher would have been huge. Like, that would have been bigger than getting rid of the Typhon. Because then they just have zero way to play. Although I guess they still have Continue set, which is... I mean, that gets them right into the game, honestly. Which is kind of huge. And then they just go ahead and reveal 2 here to pop. And now I'm using Wind Pegasus. Like, this all stemmed because I didn't stop the Rock. Like, that just had to have been a big mistake there. 100%. Because he went Typhon, bounce, Baron, and then battle phase, attack over the Fenrir. I mean, it's gotta be just Wind Pegasus, bounce. One of those 2 cards, probably the Rock, right? Has to be. And then I can save Imperm for the Typhon. Whether or not I can stop him from, you know, popping Unicorn, right? But I think he used the add back effect of Rock anyways. So it's like, I keep him off of an extra name. Yeah, and I try to go battle phase here as I boost up my Duke to try to attack over it. And I'm like, all right, yep, I kind of figured that was going to happen. So I set the Imperm and I just pass turn. I think in standby phase, I just Imperm Rock. And I'm like, if you got game here, you got game. Like, they go ahead and reveal a D shifter to draw 1. Man, I didn't think it was that obvious. But again, that's why I like doing these types of commentaries, so I can go over mistakes that I made. Because sometimes after the fact, I'm like, really, I lost that one? And I can't really put it together. You know, I can't really put it together super well in the moment. But, you know, afterwards when you reflect on it, you're like, damn, that kind of sticks out. I should have done things a lot differently. A lot differently. And I guess I'll make another, in quotes, excuse. I didn't really get the best night's sleep before this tournament, so I really wasn't playing at my absolute best, and maybe that explains that. But yeah, they take it 2-0, and yeah, that's going to do it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Last but not least, a big shout out goes to our current Divine level channel members, who are HE8 Cyber, Cadillacs, Ms. Fid, Pony Stark, Green, and Robin's assistants. Thank you guys so much as always for extremely kind and very generous support of the channel.